Hi, everybody. I'm just gonna get started in about a minute, give some people some time to get here.
Hi, thanks for hosting.
Of course, thank you for being here. If you know your energy type and you feel comfortable, can you please drop that in the chat box? And if you don't know your energy type, I dropped a link in there, sabledanielle.com/get my chart. You can calculate it there. Okay, everybody. I'm going to get started in a second as soon as I can make this big. Okay. Anytime while I am speaking, you can always drop any questions in the chat box or raise your hand. But I'm going to get started. So, thank you for being here today. First and foremost, this is From Disconnection to Intimacy, a human design and relationships workshop by me, Sable Danielle, human design coach. Oh, that is not it. We are at the end of, sorry. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so before we get started into everything, I just wanted to show a percentage of what energy types make up the population. So projectors make up about 20%. Reflectors are very rare. They make up about 1%. Manifestors are also rare. They make up 9%. And generators make up 36%. Manifesting generators make up 34%. And generators and manifesting generators are the only two energy types that have sacral energy, which is also known as like their battery pack. And so that'll be important to remember for later, but they make up a lot of percentage of everything, about over 70%. When you walk outside, you'll be within generator energy. So, what is your energy type? Let me see if anybody put theirs in the chat. Can't see the chat. Oh, there. Okay. So we have a manifestor in here. I'm a projector. So that's cool. I'm a 2-5 projector too. So our profiles are opposite. Okay. So you may be familiar with some of these people. Cardi B is a generator. Bryson Tiller's a manifestor. Ice Spice and Nipsey Hussle are manifesting generators. Kanye West is a projector, and Michael Jackson is a reflector. And so today we're going to go over how human design can deepen intimacy, and we're going to go over the energy types, which can talk about which can help you improve understanding between your partners. We'll go over strategy and authority, which can help provide clarity on energetic needs. And we'll go over the throat center, which will talk about communication. And the will center will help you improve support between your partner. And then at the end of the workshop today, for everybody on the live call, you'll be entered into a raffle to win either a free energy guide or 10% off of coaching enrollment. So, can you relate? Are you tired of feeling like, are you tired of feeling like you and your partner are speaking different languages? Are misunderstandings and miscommunications causing emotional distance between you and your partner? Do you feel alone and miss having a friend in your partner? Are you tired of feeling undervalued, unappreciated, and unworthy in your relationships? Do you feel disconnected from your partner, or do you miss having intimacy within your relationships? If any of those resonated, are you ready to elevate? It's time to go from disconnected to intimate. Today, you'll leave with the tools to deepen intimacy within your relationships and strengthen the bonds with your partner or partners. So, who am I? I am a human design coach. I'm a projector. I've been living by my design for about 3 years. I'm also a sound healer, so I provide sound bath meditations around Las Vegas. I'm a woman who loves growth, self-discovery, and living intentionally. And I'm a woman who loves to help others embrace their journey of life. So why is human design so important to me, and why do I want to spread it everywhere and like help everyone understand what it is? So for a long time I felt like I was repeating the same like patterns and finding the same trends within my relationships and friendships and just everywhere. Like I knew I had a lot to offer. I know that I'm valuable, but I didn't really feel valued or seen within my relationships. I often was feeling like there was something wrong with me, or like what else can I do to feel seen or make people see me. I wanted something deeper than astrology. So one day like human design found me, and it as soon as I started reading about the projector characteristics, like everything resonated, and it was kind of like an aha moment. It helped me understand that I was maneuvering from like my not self emotion. I wasn't really honoring my energy, which is why I was so like I was kind of stuck in victim mentality. I was a little irritated. And yeah, so sorry here. Like I said, I was moving from an energy of wanting to be seen and needing to be seen. So everything was like extra and kind of pushy, which would push people away. It's kind of inauthentic and off-putting if you're just like trying to make things happen rather than allowing things to happen. I realized I wasn't honoring or following my strategy. I didn't really know what a strategy was, of course, because I didn't know what human design was. But once I realized I wasn't waiting to be invited to share my knowledge, my opinion, like, anything that I thought was valuable, if I wasn't being asked to share those things, then it was just going over people's head. It was falling on deaf ears. And that's because I wasn't following my strategy. So if I'm saying something I think is valuable and you are just like, whatever, okay, moving on to the next, it's like, well, do you not think I'm important? Do you not feel like what I have to say is important? Do you not find that valuable? So it's easy to question yourself when you're not honoring your energy type or your strategy. And as a projector, it's some of their characteristics naturally. It's easy for people to feel unseen or unvalued, and projectors naturally yearn to be seen. So, how did human design help my relationships? I was finally able to accept me for me, which meant that I was able to show up more authentically in my relationships. I was able to show up more confidently in my relationships. I understood myself more, which meant that I was able to help my partners or my friends or loved ones understand me more. And then also realizing that everyone has different energy and all the energy is different, like the capacity to do things and how people think and operate. It just made me have more compassion and patience for everyone else that I met rather than expecting people to like think like me or maneuver like me. So, what do? I plant seeds for those people on a self discovery journey. I offer one on one human design coaching for relationships, parenting, or individuals. And I also offer sound healing meditations around Las Vegas. So, let's dive into human design. What is human design? Human design is your energetic makeup, it's your natural aura. It helps you understand who you were born to be, what your energetic purpose is, and it also helps you understand how you're meant to use and exchange your energy that you were born with. So, what's your energetic role in society? What aura do you naturally give off? What are your natural gifts? And how can you maximize your energy? Human design utilizes the chakra system, astrology, I Ching, genetics, the Kabbalah, and quantum physics to give us useful details about the energy that we're naturally born with. To know your energy type in your human design, you'll need your exact birth date, birth time, and birth location. And you can get that from the link in the chat box, sabeldanielle.com/getmychart. So some benefits of human design are that it helps you understand yourself on a deeper level, and it increases self-awareness. It can bring clarity and additional perspectives about life. It can improve understanding and communication in your relationships. It can increase self-love and compassion. It provides tools for children to help build a strong foundation and understand themselves. And it also helps us understand what daily routines can benefit our energy the most, whether it's eating, sleeping, and what environments are best for us to thrive. In relationships, human design, when you know yourself, you can show up. Okay, sorry. When you know yourself, you can show up as your best self and you can show up confidently. When you know what you need, you can help your partner understand your needs. If you understand your triggers or insecurities, you can learn how to work through them. And it'll help you understand that everything isn't personal. It's just that everybody has different energy. So this is a sample of what a body graph looks like. If you put your information into a calculator for human design, it's always going to look like this. I mean, maybe the template, like the colors and stuff might change if people change those things, but overall, you'll always see two columns, two sets of colors, and these shapes. And this is called a body graph. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this later, but in a nutshell, everything means something. So the red colors represent like your subconscious energy. This is the energy from when your soul and energy was like born 3 months prior to when you were physically born. And the black here is your personality energy, your conscious energy, and this is the energy of when you were born. So this is a snapshot of what the planets were doing 3 months prior to when you were born, and then the day that you were born. And mixed together, this is what makes up your body graph energy. So some elements of human design are the strategy, which is how you're designed to interact and use your energy with others. Authority, which is how you're designed to make decisions. The not self emotion, which are the feelings you experience when you're not honoring your energy type. And signature emotion are the feelings you experience when you are honoring your energy type. And then type is the aura that you give off or your energetic purpose. And so there's some elements to human design here. If you look at your body graph, you'll see these numbers. These numbers are called gates, and every single number has a specific DNA characteristic and trait that can help you understand more about your energy. So in general, like looking at the body graph, you want to like look at your centers, and that, well, you'll want to know your energy type, and then you'll want to look at your centers. But going deeper than that, then you'll want to dive into what gates these numbers are defined, and then you'll want to dive into what channels these lines are defined, and then you'll want to see like what's connected and what's not. So these are the gates, and they can either be defined or undefined. These lines here that connect the shapes or the shapes or centers together, this is called a channel. And then you'll also hear two other things: profile, which we aren't really going to go over today, but that's how we're meant to live and how we evolve to our highest potential. And then incarnation cross, which provides more insight about evolving and the nature of our destiny. But today we're just going to focus on some of the centers and the energy type. So the different energy types are projectors. They're the guides with captivating auras. Generators have an energetic aura, and they're designed to be busy with aligned work. Manifestors inspire new ideas with a bold and impactful aura. Manifesting generators inspire new ideas and troubleshoot for shortcuts. They have an energetic and inviting aura, and reflectors take in and test environments with an adaptable and mirroring aura. So projectors, natural guides with captivating auras, they are unintentional seed planters. And so as a projector, I can say we always have things that we like want to share that we kind of just blurt out. It's kind of automatic to us, and it's not an excuse to do things. It's just, be aware of that as a projector, hence the name, we project things. But that's why we're supposed to wait for the invitation to share. So we're not projecting onto others. But as a projector, people also project onto us very easily. So that is another characteristic. Projectors also naturally desire to feel valued, appreciated, and recognized. They can be sensitive or needy and can be lost in victim mentality. Projectors need to take breaks and need time alone. They can't keep up with generators or manifesting generators, and they must wait to be recognized, to be invited, must wait to be recognized or invited to share. And so their strategy is to wait for the invitation. And when we're not honoring our human design energy as a projector, when we're not honoring our authority or strategy, then we tend to feel feelings of bitterness. Or when we feel unseen, we can feel bitter, and get stuck in this loop of like a victim mentality type of thing. But also, before I move forward, I know I mentioned that, some energy types need breaks and some don't. I want to go back to where that stems from, and that stems from the sacral center right here. This is basically the battery pack for generators and manifesting generators, and this is what allows them to just like keep going, like the Energizer Bunny. And projectors, manifesting generators, and reflectors do not have this defined in their chart. So that means that we don't have consistent energy to just run like Energizer Bunny. We have it sometimes, we have it depending on who we're around. And since it's not defined, we take in a lot of energy here and amplify it, which burns us out quickly. And so going back to the graph of the percentages of the people of the energy types, projectors being 20% of the population, and then generators and manifesting generators being 70+% of the population with this, it's just very draining. So that's where that stems from, just in case that's a little confusing. Okay, so that's it for projectors. Generators are the natural born energizer bunnies. They're meant to have in the moment responses. They're meant to exhaust their energy in soulful duties, like things that are very meaningful to them, things that feel aligned to them. You don't need to take breaks because you have that sacral center defined. So generators can wake up at the beginning of the day, exhaust their energy doing things that they love, and go to bed at the end of the day and feel great, and then wake up the next morning and do it all over again. However, if they're exhausting their energy doing things that aren't aligned, then even though they don't need to take breaks, by the time they get home off of work or they're done with their duties, they may be very frustrated or may be like irritable. And that's because they're using their energy doing things that don't mean anything to them, and it's not aligned. And so they're either not honoring their authority or strategy, or, honestly, people just have to try to survive. So of course that happens, but that's a sign that as a generator, you're not operating from an aligned energy. Generators feel burnt out when they're putting energy into unaligned things. And they also can have tunnel vision once they're committed to things. So the sacral center is what helps generators understand when they have the energy to do something or when they're not. So they're meant to have in the moment responses so that their sacral center can give them that response. So if they're being asked a question, they shouldn't wait to come back and give an answer. Like, you're not supposed to stop and think about it. It should be in the moment. Do you feel like a sacral vibration? And that if you do, then that means, yes, I have the energy to commit to this. If not, then that means I don't have the energy to commit. It's not aligned. Or if there's some hesitation, then that means ask me another way or ask me again later, because like right now I don't have the energy. And that all stems from the sacral center. The sacral center is what provides a response to everything that comes to a generator. Okay, manifestors are naturally born lone wolves. They are the only energy type that doesn't need others. They can operate on their own and manifest things on their own. They inspire unique and creative ideas. They can be direct, blunt, and straight to the point, often misunderstood. They need to take breaks because they don't have the defined sacral center. They don't like authority controlled or being told what to do. And they must inform their loved ones in order to feel supported. And so, what that means is the strategy of manifestors is to inform people. And you're not informing in order to get like approval from anybody, right? You're informing so that you can feel supported. So since manifestors can be lone wolves and can do things on their own, and they can just be like, I'm going to do this, and then just be stuck on that, like that goal for a while, it's easy for them to also be tunnel vision and kind of forget about the people around them. Also, manifestors don't like to be interrupted. So to mitigate all of that, manifestors should inform the people around them to let them know what they're going to do and what they need, and essentially that they'll be back and they'll be supported. So, for example, a manifestor can tell, let's say they're going to make a decision to work on a goal, but that goal might take a couple hours, and they're dating a projector who likes to have attention sometimes, or may not understand someone who is tunnel vision on an objective, because I need to take breaks all the time. Also, I'm not tunnel vision when I get working on a goal. The manifestor would tell me like, hey, I have this project I'm working on. I'm going to be busy for a couple hours. I'll be back and available to like chill, hang out, go eat, whatever in 2 hours. But like, please don't interrupt me because I need to focus. And that makes me feel like you're not just leaving me out and doing your own thing, not including me in your world, while also I'm not going to interrupt you because I know what you're doing. So it's a win-win situation. You avoid being interrupted, and then you also make the people around you feel supported in your decisions and in your life. Also, the not self emotion of a manifestor is anger. So they can be blunt, direct, straight to the point. And so for like a projector or a reflector who may be a little bit more sensitive, like that's something to know, where it may not be personal. Like I said on the other slide, like it's not an excuse to be rude. However, if you're aware of how someone is designed to kind of communicate, then you'll understand that they're not always trying to like personally attack you. However, on the other end, like manifestors, that's how you communicate. So just be aware of how you communicate, your tone, and how you're coming across, because you may not be trying to come across as like rude, but someone may take it that way. Okay, manifesting generators are a combination of generators and manifestors, but mostly operate as generators. They're high energy multitaskers. They're meant to be working on a lot of things at once. They're meant to try a lot of different things and learn from those experiences and then move on to the next. So to some people, it may feel like they're scatterbrained or they're not focused, or like you need to just pick one thing, but manifesting generators are not meant to just pick one thing. They're meant to they're meant to do a lot of everything, and then when it no longer feels right to them, move on to the next so that they can learn something else. But since they move so fast, manifesting generators can skip steps. So it's important to pay attention to details as a manifesting generator. And also, manifesting generators create shortcuts. You do things so fast and you're trying a lot of things that you're able to find shortcuts for the rest of the population and energy types. It's okay to change directions. So partners should not try to make you like continue on one goal if it's not feeding you or fueling you, or if it's not making you happy anymore, regardless of how long you've been working on it. Some energy types need to stick with something for a long time, but that's not what manifesting generators are designed to do, in order to be like aligned and not maneuver from their anger or frustration, not self-theme. Manifesting generators are very fast, so projectors, reflectors, and manifestors should not try to keep up. Only generators can keep up. So if you're a manifesting generator, don't put that expectation on your partner. Well, you should never put that expectation on your partner, but especially not if they're a projector, reflector, or manifestor. Oh, well, I didn't really mention the strategy. So, strategy for manifesting generators, since you're both generator and manifester, you are meant to respond to the environmental stimuli that comes your way. And then once you make your decision, you inform the people around you who will be affected by it. And also, part of like the impulsiveness is generators, manifesting generators, unlike generators, when you get a sacral yes, it's okay to get a sacral yes, to sample it, try it, and then be like, this isn't for me. Generators don't usually do that. Once they are committed to something and they get that sacral yes, they're in it for pretty much for a long time until it no longer fuels them. However, manifesting generators need to like taste and sample it a little bit before they completely and fully commit to it. And then if they don't like it, even if they already said yes, they may stop and jump to something else. And that's okay. Let them do that. Okay, so reflectors, their environment is very crucial. Reflectors are the only energy type that does not have any defined centers in their chart, which means that they are always taking in energy. No matter where they go, no matter who they're around, they're taking in all of that energy and amplifying it. So their environment is very, very, very important. They're very sensitive to their environment. They should pay attention to how things make them feel. Also, they're very adaptable and fluid and tend to be like open-minded. They also need to take breaks and need to spend a lot of time alone since they're taking in so much energy. It's hard to know like what's your thoughts and what's not your thoughts. So it's important to take time to like ground yourself, go out in nature. Going out in nature is very huge and important for projectors and reflectors, especially. So that you can ground yourself and get rid of that external energy that you're just taking in on a regular basis. As a reflector, you shouldn't try to live up to the expectations of other people. You don't have any consistent energy to like be one type of way. So you're a very fluid person. So whatever expectations people may have of you, you really aren't ever going to be able to fit into that because you're never consistently like exactly the same. You shift a little bit depending on who's in your environment, what and where you're at. So keep that in mind. That's very important. And then also don't expect other people to live up to any type of like standard either, because that both of those things will lead to the not self emotion of disappointment, which is what reflectors experience when they're not honoring those things or when they're trying to live up to expectations. Remember, you can't keep up with a generator or manifesting generator. And your strategy is to wait a lunar cycle or 28, 29 days, because, like I said, reflectors do not have any definition in their centers. So they're always taking in energy. And so you need, you're very, the moon cycles impact you a lot, and also you need time to shed that energy, filter your energy, and make a decision truly based off of you rather than other people. So you need time by yourself, you need time to talk out your decisions and say it out loud so you can kind of like hear your own thoughts rather than like just be taking in everybody else's thoughts all the time. Okay, so this goes back to the percentages I was showing you about. This kind of hopefully this makes a little more sense as to why reflectors, projectors, and manifestors may be so overwhelmed or may get burnt out quicker than generators and manifesting generators, because this generator energy is just very dominating as a whole in the entire population. So going back to what the colors mean on the body graph, this is called definition. Definition is where you see color on your chart. Definition is the energy that we were naturally born with. It's anywhere, like I said, that you see color. And so there's three different types of definition. There's open definition, which is any center that you see that has no color in it at all, no defined gates, no circled numbers, nothing. And this is what the reflector centers all look like. The open spaces have no active gates, they have no consistent energy. The open centers are the vulnerable areas, trigger points, growth points. These are unreliable and inconsistent sources of energy. And so these are very much so impacted by the people that you are around. and whether or not they have definition or what is defined in their center. So the second type of definition is defined, which means the center, the shape is completely colored in, and there's also some defined gates in there. And the defined centers represent the consistent energy that you were born with. It's your natural aura, it's your natural born talents and characteristics. These are things that you may not easily recognize within yourself because they're natural within you. You were born within them, or you were born with that energy in you. So you just easily do that. Whereas someone else may not be born with that energy. So they may notice that you do something very easily that's hard to them. And it's like, how do you do that so well? And you're like, I don't know, I just do it. Like, I just always done it. But that's probably because you have that defined in your chart and they don't. So it's hard for them to understand. And then there is the undefined center, which is very similar to open. However, there is at least one active gate that's providing some type of consistent energy here. And so undefined centers are still vulnerable areas, growth points. They're still unreliable except for wherever you see the color. And I just forgot. Oh, okay. So the open centers and the undefined centers are where you take in and amplify energy. And the defined centers are giving off energy. And so the centers are always looking for where, so the undefined and open centers and spaces are always looking to fill that other side of the space with defined energy. So where it's red here, we're looking for somebody to hopefully fill this chart that has definition in their chart. And that's just like kind of how it works. We're always giving and receiving energy all day, every day. Like I said a little bit earlier, the red represents more unconscious energy. It represents your soul. It's when the energy of you landed 3 months prior to your birth. It's also like bloodline, genetics, and fixed energy. And the black represents the day that you were born. It's more conscious energy, your personality, more energy that you're aware of. And then we'll go over the centers. So there are 9 centers, and centers are basically energy hubs, or basically the chakras, but we have 2 additional chakras. So starting at the top, we have the head center, which is responsible for pressuring us to think, inspires ideas, thoughts, creative ideas, all of those things. We just always have pressure to think and like to answer people's questions and to just like a lot of mental activity there. And then underneath that, we have the Ajna Center, which is responsible for analyzing and filtering everything that our head center thinks about. And then underneath the Ajna, after it's filtered out, it gets pushed down to the throat center. And the throat center is a very important center. It's huge. It's responsible for communication, manifestation, expressing. It's your voice. It is also the center that every single center is trying to get its energy to for manifestation purposes. So all of this energy is going down to the throat. The emotional solar plexus is coming up to the throat. Root center is all coming up to the throat. So don't ever sleep on the throat center. Underneath that, we have the G center, also known as the identity center, and that's responsible for like self-love, identity, having a strong sense of purpose and direction in life, a strong sense of like who you are. The will center is also called the ego center or heart center, and it's responsible for materialistic world values, willpower, your capacity to commit. It's also responsible for like your confidence and insecurities. So this is very important when in relation to relationships and partnerships. And then we have the emotional solar plexus center, which is responsible for emotional awareness, our creativity, our sensuality, sexuality, all stems from this emotional solar plexus center. This is also very important. The sacral center here is huge. It's basically the battery pack. It's a GPS system. It provides sustainable energy for people who have this defined. The spleen center is responsible for like fears. Do I feel safe in this environment? Do I feel safe interacting with this person? It's also responsible for intuition and health, like your immune system. And then we have the root center, which is responsible for like taking action and providing pressure to take action on things that will give you stability and make you feel secure, kind of similar to the root center, the root chakra, if you are familiar with that. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the centers and different strategies. So before we get into that, quickly, human design authority is how we should make decisions. And there are 7 different types of authority. I'm not going to dive too deep into that today, but in general, some people are meant to make in the moment decisions. Some people are meant to make intuitive decisions. That's like based off of your spleen center. Some people are meant to wait it out before they make a decision. Some people are meant to talk things out before they make decisions. And then some people are meant to wait out their emotions before they make any type of decisions. Because if you're making decisions before you like filter out and feel through your emotions, then you're going to be making an emotional decision, which oftentimes causes like regret and negative feelings. Or if you're not following your authority, you're kind of like forcing things rather than allowing things to flow how they should naturally for your energy. Okay, so human design strategy. How should I use my energy? Projectors wait for the invitation. Generators respond to in the moment, have in the moment responses. Manifestors inform their loved ones. Manifesting generators respond and then inform their loved ones. Reflectors wait a lunar cycle, which is essentially 28 or 29 days. And that's just very crucial because you always want to make sure you're making a decision based off of you. So some tips and examples when it comes to human design and relationships. If you're a projector or reflector dating a generator or a manifestor, don't take tunnel vision personally in your relationships. You have to allow your generator or manifestor to be them, right? You want them to allow you to be you. So work is very important to a generator. Once they are committed to a goal or a task or want to get something done, like they need to get it done before they can truly focus on something else or give you their full attention. So rather than taking that personally or feeling like your generator is always choosing work over you, they're not really choosing work over you. They just can't really focus on anything else until that is done. And that's like they get enjoyment out of working and out of utilizing their energy in aligned ways that bring their soul happiness. So you have to allow them to do things that make them happy so that they can fully show up for you in the relationship. But the key to that is to just communicate. It's important to communicate those things. Generator, if you have a goal that you're working on, let your projector or reflector know, or manifestor, if you're about to work on something and don't want to be interrupted, let your projector and reflector know. So it's not just like silence and then you feel like you did something wrong or you're questioning where you and your partner are at. Don't try to keep up. Don't have expectations of your partner trying to keep up if you're a generator or manifesting generator, because as I mentioned before, the energy is fluid for some people. Reflectors, projectors, and manifestors cannot keep up. So if you're always expecting them to keep up, or if you feel like you need somebody who can think fast, move fast, then maybe a projector or reflector is not the perfect person for you. If that doesn't bother you, then that's fine. But just make sure you're not putting that expectation out there or feeling like, oh, you're just so slow. Like you can't keep up. Why do you always need a break? Like, well, I need a break because I don't have a battery pack like you. So keep that in mind. Manifestors, part of that communication is inform your loved ones. And in return, you'll feel supported, but also pay attention to your delivery. Manifesting generators respond and inform and don't expect others to keep up because you just move extra fast compared to everybody. And reflectors, just remember how important your environment is and how sensitive you are to your environment. You take in a lot of energy, so you may need to take a lot of breaks, and you also may need to spend a lot of time by yourself. Sometimes in relationships, they suggest that projectors and reflectors, not every single night, but if you feel like you're overwhelmed and you're not getting good night's sleep with your partner in the same bed or sharing the same bed with someone, sometimes they suggest sleeping alone some nights and just seeing how that energy affects you. Because if you're a projector, reflector, or a manifester dating a or married to a generator, a manifesting generator who has that sacral center defined, their sacral center does not turn off. So if you need a break and you're sleeping next to a generator, your undefined sacral center is still taking in and amplifying that energy from your generator or manifesting generator partner, which means even though you're sleeping, technically the energy within you and around you is still active and working and exhausting you. So you're not really getting a break or resting. When you don't honor your energy, you fall into feelings of your not self theme, anger, frustration, disappointment, bitterness. And that happens when you're not following your authority or strategy, or when you just don't really even know what your energy is. That's why knowing your human design type is very important. Basically, don't be a Squidward. So, the throat center. I mentioned earlier that the throat center is responsible for expression, communication, manifestation, and it's the power of your voice. This is one of the first centers that I suggest people look at sometimes when they're trying to understand themselves. I think all the centers are very important, but maybe for me, because I feel like I've had a hard time finding my voice or being confident within my voice. Looking at my throat center helped me understand why I felt that way. Like, I don't have a lot of centers defined in my throat center, and I absolutely hate speaking. I used to. I don't really anymore. I've been growing out of it and, getting more comfortable with it. But my whole life, I've avoided public speaking. I'm always more of an observer and I listen rather than speak. And I believe I only have two gates defined in my throat center. And I took a workshop one time with someone and we were going over our throat centers, and who I was partnered up with, she was talking the entire time, and she was talking about how she loves to talk and she talks super fast, and all her friends say that she never stops talking, and she's a teacher, and she was just going on and on and on. And then when we looked at her throat center, she had 7 centers defined. She had so much energy going and active within her throat center that it made sense that she just enjoyed talking, loved talking, and would just go. In comparison to my throat center that only had 2 active gates defined. And so there's energy there, but it's not a lot for me to be like, this is my jam. I really love talking. So look into that, see what gates are defined within your throat center, see what channels bring the definition to your throat center, and that can help you understand whether you're like you captivate your audiences, you're a good storyteller, whether people like to talk to you and just automatically share their stories with you because they feel so comfortable talking to you. That all can be seen based off of the definition in your throat center. So number 1, is your throat center defined, open, or undefined? And what gates do you have defined? And then also what channels are defined to your gates. To your throat center, and what other center. So if you have a channel defined, that means you have 2 centers defined, one on each side. So what is the opposing center that brings the definition to your throat center? That's important to look at. So are you a confident speaker? Do you enjoy talking? Does talking a lot burn you out? Do you captivate your audiences, or do people love speaking to you? This is huge. We just kind of went over that to look at those things, what is defined. And then we'll move on to the throat center. And the throat center is important because this is responsible for your willpower, your drive to get things done easily on a consistent basis. This is your confidence, your insecurities. So you can look at your gates, what gates you have defined in here, of course, whether or not the center itself is defined. If you have a defined will center, then you consistently can get things done easily. If you say that you're going to do something and you want to do something, you can easily get it done and get it done quickly, and you can get it done like consistently. Whereas people who don't have that center defined, even if you want to get it done and you make a promise to get something done, in that moment you might have had the energy because whoever you were speaking to or interacting with might have had their will center defined or had more gates in their will center defined than you. But then once you go home and time has passed and you're just by yourself in your individual energy, you don't have any definition in your will center. So now you may not keep that promise, but that's not intentional. That doesn't make you a bad person. This is just helping you understand where that stems from. Yeah, I only have 2 gates to find them. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that, Dion. Yeah, so if you don't have that defined, and you feel like it's hard for you to keep promises to people or follow through in your relationship, that's something your partner like harps on you about, take a look at that will center and see if it's defined or not, and how you can like work through those energies that you were born with. And also, like I said, confidence and insecurities come from here. So people who do not have their willpower, their will center defined, may not have consistent confidence. They may feel a little bit more insecure about themselves. So take a look at where that definition is in your chart. Do you have consistent energy to keep your promises? Is it easy for you to say you're going to do something and follow through easily and quickly? And how confident are you? So in summary, how can human design deepen intimacy? We can understand the energy types and strategy now. We can learn to communicate our needs and honor our energetic needs of ourselves and our partner. And now we know that it's not always personal. Like we're born this way and we have to honor the energy of the people in our lives as well as ourselves. So, do we have any questions at this point? Or anything that you'd like to add, even if it's not a question? Feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand or drop it in the chat box. Okay. If you come up with one, you can always drop one in there. But before we get into our raffle, I just wanted to let you all know that for one-on-one coaching with me, open enrollment started today, and it'll be open until next week, July 31st. It's a 3-month container of one-on-one coaching with me. We'll have bi-weekly sessions via Zoom to talk about whatever issues you're having in your relationships, or to just understand your energy on a deeper level. We can talk through real life scenarios like while they're happening. You'll also get tools and guidance to honor your design on a daily basis, and email and video support through your coaching container. And so there are sign up bonuses. If you sign up by July 26th and pay in full, you'll get $200 off and a free energy guide, plus 50% off the energy guide for like a partner or a loved one. If you sign up and make a deposit for a payment plan by the 26th, you'll get a free energy report still. And the important dates are today, it opens, the enrollment period closes the 31st, and then don't forget about the bonus periods that end July 26th, because you don't want to miss out on these freebies. So it's an investment total of $1,200, but you'll really get tools to like help the rest of your life. I feel like self-discovery is very important. So if you understand yourself, then like everything else can kind of flow very smoothly. All right, so it's raffle time. Let me get out of here. I'm gonna have to update the names because everybody didn't show up. Ooh, wait. Let me stop sharing for a second. Okay. Here's the names. And then update everything with just the names that are in here. All right, so we have Monica, we have Ariel, and Dion. share the screen again so you guys can see who the winner is. Congratulations, Dana. If you can send me a message and let me know, either on Instagram or send me an email and let me know if you want the energy report or 10% off of the coaching, let me know and we can get to working. Also, does anyone else have anything they would like to share? I hope you enjoyed this today and you found some useful information from everything that I shared. The recording will be available for 48 hours, so check your email if you would like to rewatch it. Thank you all for being here. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Welcome.